Okay, so what should you be thinking about when getting your last will and testament created? I know, it's morbid, right? Like, who likes to think about death? But it's important that you do it now because it is a lot harder to do it after you're gone. So, after you pass away, everybody wants to know, where does everything go? That's what you got to be thinking about. So, first, if you're married, maybe everything goes to your spouse. If you're not married, maybe everything goes to your best friend or your parents or your siblings or your favorite charity. Either way, you need to at least set out your first beneficiary who's going to get all your stuff. You can split stuff up, so you could have, I want my baseball card collection to go to my brother, I want my car to go to my best friend or my attorney, or however you want to do it. So you can be as detailed or as vague as you want. Although vague is probably not the right way to do that. So, but meaning you can specify each item, right? You can go through and have the world's longest list, so you know where every single thing is going to go. Or you could be a little more general and just say, I want all of my items to be split equally among my best friends, Sam, Josh, and Stephanie, and everybody just gets 1/3. You could just use a percentage. You could use money amounts. So you could say, I want the first $10,000 to go to my cousin, the next $10,000 to go to my stepmom or whatever. So you can see there's a lot of flexibility there to kind of lay out what you want to go to which individuals. What I see is most common, because I do a lot of wills for married couples, is they'll say, I want everything to go to my spouse so long as he or she lives past me or survives me. And then if my spouse predeceases me or passes away before I do, then I want everything split equally among my children. So that's what I see that's most common. So that's at its most general. So that may be the first thought, to figure out where everything's going to go. Number two, you have to figure out who's going to be your executor. Your executor is the person that essentially runs your estate after you pass away. So they're the ones that are responsible for collecting all of your assets, reporting those to the probate court, paying all the bills, the funeral expenses, whatever else is out there, selling, if you have a house that needs sold or vehicles that need sold, they're the ones that are responsible for doing all that, reporting it to the probate court, and then ultimately making the distributions to your beneficiaries. So you want to name your executor. Should be someone who is reasonably organized and responsible. So in most cases, they're going to be working with an attorney to get through the probate process, but they need to be adept at understanding bank statements and how to get those, and making sure tax returns are filed properly, and locating different assets wherever they are. So they need to be a pretty competent person, pretty responsible, pretty organized, pretty adept, good communicator, hopefully. You should name, the first person would be, whoever's going to be your executor first, be one person. Stay away from co-executors, just one person. And then you can name at least one backup person. So that's usually the way to do it. Once you've got your executors named, you would have them there. There should be a pretty broad list of the powers they would have. Your attorney's going to be the best person at putting that list of executor powers together for your will. Then, if you have minor children, so children under the age of 18, you need to appoint a guardian for them. If both you and your spouse pass away at the same time, or your spouse passes away before you do, somebody's got to raise your kids. So similar to the executor, I get a lot of people that will ask, I want my brother and my sister-in-law to be the guardians. And I say, well, that's very noble of you, but you need to pick one person, because as you can imagine, it's hard enough to get one person to make the right decision. So trying to get two people to agree on every decision can be really, really difficult. So that's why co-executors and co-guardians, I think, are a bad move. Number two, in my hypothetical, what happens if my brother and sister-in-law get divorced and I still have them both named as co-guardians? Well, that can make it a little strange to figure out who's going to raise the children, right? So you name one person. You name one person as the guardian, and then just like the executor, you can name a backup person. Your guardian and your executor don't have to be the same people. In many cases, they're not. But if you live in one of those perfect scenarios where The person you name as your executor is also the person that you want to raise your children. If both you and your spouse pass away, then I guess you're lucky. So once you've done that, then you should really be in good shape after that. Those are the key things that I usually see in a will. So where does everything go? Who's raising the children, and who's the executor? Kind of your three components. Yeah, so hopefully that's helpful. That's just, like I said, a short kind of quick hitter on what you should be thinking about when you put your last will and testament together. I'll do some videos on power of attorneys, what those are for and what you should be thinking about, and then probably one on a trust as well. So, all right, good luck.